Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is...
Evergrey. Different worlds.
Julian. Evergrey. I put Evergrey. Evergrey, different worlds. For who?
Julian.
For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up in Middle America with Vin and Sori. If you dare listen up, would you like your song reviewed like our buddy Julian? It's very, very simple. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. And then you get hooked up to the alliances. And then when the alliances happen, you can pull your points together and they help us determine what songs we listen to. Or, if you don't want to be part of an alliance and you want to hop, skip, and jump in front of everybody, $125 at the gate gets you straight to the head of the line where you, dear listener, get to decide what song we listen to. And that is what the big homie Julian did. If you do that 3 times, then you get bumped down to the $75 tier. What are you doing? Are you taking?
I don't know. Has it been 2 hours since you saw me munching on that bagel?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't know what that alarm is for. All right. Carry on. I have gestational diabetes, so I have to keep checking my blood every 2 hours after I eat. It's very annoying.
Oh, this baby. You pay the price. All right, different worlds, Evergrey. Let's go.
Here we go.
The silence awakes me.
Got that 80s feel.
My heartbeat would so easily reveal me. Who am I? What is left? Is it my mind that constantly deceives me? Doubt me if what I feel and see is real. It seems as if I exist in different worlds. There is one in darkness, one is loss of time, one of self-doubt and one of hurt. All my pride has left me. My value as a human's been extinguished. My close ones, those who love me, disbelieve me, won't believe me. So I got no one to confide in. And what worse is, I'm beginning to accept this. My body's become my prison. My keepers are what you would call fiction. I am beginning to doubt me if what I feel and see is real. It seems as if I exist in different worlds. There is one in darkness, one is loss of time, one of self-doubt and one of hurt.
Oh.
Yikes. That was, we've been getting a lot of unique songs right now.
Yeah.
These songs are, that was not an enjoyable song to listen to. Like, it's not a song that, like, you enjoy. It's good. It's a really, really good song, but...
It was sad, and it was...
Really, really tough.
Yeah.
Tough stuff.
Where do you think he lands when he's like... You know, like, don't touch me.
He wants to go home. He wants to go home. Don't touch. I have no idea. You know, it kind of had a like an
if he's trapped in
Elton.
his own mind, or if he's in an asylum, or.
Well, it says "In Search of Truth" is the name of the record. So the first song is "Master Plan." The second song is "Rulers of the Mind," "State of Paralysis," "The Encounter." So I mean,
Dark Waters.
you know, looks like there's some, you know, maybe mental stuff happening with the guy.
Yeah,
maybe he's in an institution.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure if he found himself in there again.
So yeah, it's tough stuff. But the dynamic of like him just playing the piano, or the piano playing him sing. It had like an 80s sound to it at the beginning, like an Elton John type 80s kind of vibe to it. And I thought at some point it's gonna go into like a crescendo and guitar, which it did kind of at the end, but it wasn't like what I was expecting to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy looks like he's having a really tough go at it.
Really rough time. Yeah.
Silence awakes me, my heartbeat would so easily reveal me. Who am I, and what is left? Is it my mind that constantly deceives me? That's what we're talking yesterday about, like the power of the mind, and you know, like the more and more I see things, the more amazed I am about like how much the mind. If a person is very good with their mind, that gives them so many more advantages than other people. It's like it's hard to apprehend how, like, I barely graduated high school. Like, academically, I was a complete car accident. I was horrible. But I don't know, for whatever reason, like, and, you know, like,
Yeah, but you didn't have to be. Like if you looked at your grades and you looked at my grades and you didn't see us as students, you would say, oh, he's a worse student than her.
Right.
And you would never know that I struggled every single test. I studied so much to try to get a good grade, and then I'd pass with like an 85 or an 87.
yeah.
You know, you weren't passing this stuff, but you weren't even trying. If you tried...
I can honestly say without, like, exaggeration, I've probably done 4 days of my homework in my entire high school career.
Exactly.
Like, I never, you know.
So
we had
the
grapes.
whole, like,
We had
I
grapes of
barely
wrath.
graduated high school is not...
We had grapes of wrath and stuff, but that was like fun for me. I wanted to read that book, so I guess that counts as homework. But I read that in a day. I read that book in a day. I used to read all those books in a day, though. But that was because, you know, I was talking to Ben Webb about this in the Fireside. Like, he's like, oh, I'm not that smart. It's just, you know, I like reading. It's like, the ability to read and to be able to lock in and focus for a day to finish a book, and then the ability to retain information is that itself is a gift. Call it intelligence, call it whatever you want. But yeah, but I just wasn't a very good student. You know what I mean? Like, so I hear what you're saying, but you know, it's like we used to have conversations, and I used to say, X and Y and Z thing is going to happen with this person, and da-da-da-da, and that's going to set off this chain reaction, and it was like months before the situation happened, and it happened like exactly like that, and you were like, oh my God, like, can you tell the future, and yada, but it wasn't that. It's just like studying people. I spend so much time studying people, and like studying, you know,
My father's pretty good
patterns
at
and all
that
that
too,
stuff.
like predicting
yeah. Well, yeah.
when people are gonna shipwreck.
Yeah.
But not like you are. My dad would be like, when that kid grows up, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, yours is like oddly specific.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, her love of pink is gonna cause her to buy that pink car, which is gonna cause her to get in that accident. You know what I mean? Like something that you're like.
Yeah, but a lot of it is just like people and studying patterns and all that. But like if you can, I think the big thing, I sent this to Johan and it's so funny because the talk was, I think it was Sadhguru, I'm not sure, but the talk was like how to concentrate. So he's like, how many of you have been told all your life to concentrate and pay attention? And everybody raised their hand. And then he was like, how many of you have been told how to pay attention and concentrate? Of course, everybody put their hand down. And so I'm like, okay, this will help Johan. Because Dorian can
What was it?
Dorian,
I thought it was just apply your will.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it. Because it's not an issue for me. Like, if I want to do something, I can lock in and zone everything out. And Dorian can do that too. Dorian can completely lock in and shut everything out and read and then retain the information.
Yeah.
Johan is extremely curious about reading and knowledge too. It's just he gets distracted. Zoe has no interest in. Zoe's more tactile, you know. She wants to do stuff with her body. She doesn't really want to, you know what I'm saying? So I you know, but the point is the strength of the mind like cannot be exaggerated. Like you get so many different advantages if you have a mind that can, you know, figure out patterns and figure out people, and you know, it definitely, like there have been so many situations where like I had a clear advantage over people just because, you know, I had that. But a lot of it is like sitting and watching people and listening to them, and that is always on. Like there's no, I for the last, so that's 8 years, every conversation I've had has been, every single conversation I've had has always been some sort of analytical assessment of X, Y, and Z.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so close to delivery here.
So, I mean...
What do you mean each conversation has been analytical?
Every conversation I've ever had for the last 8 years has been putting people in, you know, whatever, what they said. And I remember very clearly certain things, and, oh, this fits this personality profile, and blah, blah, blah. And so if this were to happen, that were to happen, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's insane. It's unbelievable. But, I mean...
Also sounds kind of scary when you say that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean I don't, like, genuinely have, you know people or whatever, or have a relationship with them. It just means that it's something I can't help doing. You know, after you've had certain experiences, it's like, this is not something that, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something I can, it is something I could turn off, but I don't think I ever will. So, do what you will with that. But, so I was listening, but the point is like the power of the mind, and when a person, like, starts getting trapped in their own head, man, forget it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
It's really, really over. I'm beginning to doubt me if what I feel and see is real. It seems as I exist in two different worlds, one in darkness, one is loss of time. So...
Yeah, that's not a good feeling when you lose confidence in your own self.
Yeah, and the ability to, there are so many things that we take for granted, but like the ability to have a basic functioning mind is a massive gift that a lot of people, you know, a lot of people take for granted.
Yep.
But I remember the first time I really started appreciating it was when I really dug into Romans 1, where it was talking about people suppressing the truth and unrighteousness of God, giving them over to a reprobate mind and a darkened heart, and the inability to reason. And that was the first time I really thought to myself, like, the ability to reason, the ability to function in the world. You're doing like thousands of syllogisms in your mind a day. That is like, is crazy. You're like, you know, when they do like the whole, you know, show us how to make a peanut butter sandwich, and you have to give the person the instructions on how to make a peanut butter sandwich, and it's almost always a disaster at the end. Like, that demonstrates how complex that action actually is.
Right.
and
Right.
you're just doing that, just whoop, like it's insane. Like, so I remember like really reading that and thinking through the implications of like having a darkened mind and not being able to perceive objective reality clearly and not being able to have a self-understanding objectively of who you actually are and all the rest of it. That's a crazy thing. That's a really, really crazy thing. Like, so that was another moment for me where I was like, yo, the mind is a, because people talk about it all the time, the mind is, you know, the Matrix and things like that. A lot of really the Matrix is an ode to the mind, right? It was Neo was able to, you know, exist inside and outside the Matrix simultaneously. And that to me is, you know, in certain groups on what they call mastery. Like to be in and outside of a situation at the same time and then function simultaneously with that knowledge. You know, it's kind of like Tenet, you know, like where you got some people that are going in the past, some people going in the future, and they're reading, you know, they're saying back to them what's happening because they were like people that can do that are in really good shape. Like that's the extreme side of. There was one guy I met that like it was. The guy made me look like a kindergartner with that stuff. He was insane. Like you'd come back and he'd be like, you have da 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 da, and you have this many da 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 left, and like he was right almost 100% of the time. And it was like very, very detailed, like it was ridiculous. And he wasn't there. He was literally on the other side of the planet. he would just, the guy was just like scary. Like nobody wanted to be around him. Nobody wanted to talk to him.
You know too much.
Nobody wanted to talk to him. Like, oh, you got to debrief with Jensen. I'm like, nope.
Even you?
Oh, no. Especially me. Because I was an amateur and I knew, like...
That's so terrible.
No. I don't talk to you. I don't talk to Jensen. Shout out to the big homie. But yeah, man, like... I am certain that's not even the guy's real name, Jensen. I mean, who's named Jensen? Like, please, the guy's from... Anyway, nobody even questioned that. Like, really? You're from Africa? Your name's Jensen? Really? Really? Okay. All right. Whatever you say. The guy was, you know, black as a tire. Named Jensen. Come on. But everybody was too scared of him to, like, you know... Anyway. Good dude. Shout out to the big homie. So yeah, he's stuck in his mind. That's always been one of my things. Like, I work really, really hard at like sharpening my mind. A lot. That's one of the reasons I'm always reading a book or always listening to a book or always looking at another religious philosophy or ideology. It's one of the reasons I love studying Hinduism because it's so complex and there's so many gods and there's so many different like ways of harmonizing and synthesizing all that stuff. So it's a massive, massive challenge mentally to like keep up with that stuff and memorize those passages and memorize that stuff. But I love it because of the challenge that it presents. But here he goes.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot more when I was younger.
My value as a human has been extinguished. My close ones, those who love me, disbelieve me and won't believe me. Well, that's because he doesn't believe in himself, right? So he's beginning to doubt himself in first line of verse 2. And then obviously if you're doubting yourself and that's clear, then obviously your close friends are not going to believe what you have to say because you don't even believe what you have to say. You're questioning your own sanity. So obviously those people are going to question yours, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I remember when that, my mother was probably the most like intellectually dynamic human being I've ever met in my life. And she, we got into a massive car accident, and she got the brunt of it, and it was a massive head injury. She had like TBI, traumatic brain injury, all that stuff. And I didn't know it at the time, but she was in critical condition. Me and my brothers walked out fine. I had Ninja Gaiden. I still, I had it on the ground. We had rented it, so I had my Ninja Gaiden, and my brothers everybody was fine. I didn't even have whiplash, nothing. So I'm looking at that like, she was in the hospital. Now I realize she was in critical condition and all that. And my stepdad was pretty stressed out. He was having a really hard time. He was, again, I'm looking back now, he was very, very stressed out because she was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of touch and go.
And he couldn't be there because he had to be with you guys.
He saw the entire accident happen.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he was certain that we were all dead. So he was just like, okay, my family's dead, here we go. And he was preparing himself for that when he was, But anyway, my mother was never the same after that. Never the same after that. And her mind wasn't as sharp as it used to be. She couldn't remember stuff. She'd go into a room and not know why she was in a room. She'd lose her meds. She'd put her meds in a certain place and then her meds weren't there, and then she just like went ballistic, went after us, was convinced that we were hiding her meds from her. And, that really... She never really recovered from that situation. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing was like she's like the matriarch of the family. So when it was clear that we stopped having that type of confidence in her, that was hard for her to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's when my older brother started, really stepping in because
mm-hmm.
my stepdad was, God bless him, but so it was really, really, really hard for her. And I think that, I remember Junior used to say, "Are you sure?" And that would just set her off. And I was always like, what is her problem? Like you forget everything. I'm just going to ask you, are you sure? But of course I'm a kid. Like I don't understand the import of that because, she was always, we were always sure what she had to say. Like nobody ever questioned anything, like ever. Like, and it, and it wasn't just because she was our mom. She was like literally the most intelligent human being. She was always the smartest person in the room. It wasn't even close. And she never had to say anything. Nobody had to say anything. We just knew. It's like, you see LeBron James in there. Like he's going to be the best basketball player. Like that's how it was. And then like she went from that to, her little 11-year-old son saying, "Are you sure?" So that was very, very, very hard for her to deal with. Or,
I bet.
We would ask her the same question 4 or 5 times. Why? Because she would forget it. So we'd ask her 4 or 5 times, and then she'd say, "Why are you asking me the same question twice?" In reality, it was the 5th time. But she just, she didn't remember us asking those questions. And the crazy thing was, if you asked her a second time, she'd give you a different answer than the first time. So
I don't understand. What are you asking her questions about?
Anything like, did this bill get paid? Did that bill get paid? Or do we need to? Did you drop this off at the post office? Yada yada yada.
Shoot, that's too bad.
We have to get your prescription. Yada yada yada. Yeah. Do you know where the prescription is? That was a big thing in New York. Like, she used to send me to the pharmacy to get her prescription, and I'd walk. It's a pretty long walk too, because I didn't want to use my Metro card because I had other stuff to do with it. But I'd go there, and the guy would be like, "This prescription is from last year," and like she wasn't doing anything funny. She was just confused. So I'm not trying to do a 5-mile walk to and from. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you want to know.
And then to wait in the pharmacy. It's New York City. Like, you're looking at a half an hour wait so that you can get told nope, you're wrong. So you can go back out again after that. So like I was always. That was, for some reason, always my role to go do shit like that. Like, Junior's role was to keep the whole family together and make it so that we literally didn't kill each other. And my role was to go off and do shit like that. So she'd say, "Okay, here's my prescription." And then I would look at it. I'd look at the date. Mm-hmm. She'd get mad about that. "What are you doing? It's none of your business." So it was just very, very hard. But, for me, I didn't have any understanding about what was happening. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, why am I going through this? Blah, blah, blah. Self-pity.
Yeah, but that probably fit into the whole narrative. You know what I mean? Like, so she sends you to go get it, and you're looking at the date, but it looks like you're looking at... I mean, who would think that you were looking at the date? So probably it makes it look like you're looking at what pills she's taking to 100%. Know what drugs she's going to have.
100%.
And then all of a sudden her stuff goes missing because she misplaced it, but you were sitting there looking at it.
100%.
So it just doesn't... The whole thing...
Yeah. No, I get it. And sometimes the date would be right, but the thing was already filled. Like, yeah, it is. And then and of course, the pharmacist is looking at me all crazy. And now I understand. Like, he's probably thinking I'm some drug dealer. That my mom has these meds, you know what I'm saying, and I'm stealing them and all this, and I'm going back and forth with them and all this. So, you know, like the
What
whole
a mess.
Well, yeah, it was a freaking mess. But you know, now I'm like, okay, I understand. You know what I mean? Like I get that. You know what I mean? Like, because that would be extremely difficult for me. You know, and he's like, my values as a human has been extinguished. You know. And he's got no one to confide in, yada, yada, yada. And I don't really think that my mom had a lot of people to confide in at the time. You know, because their relationship was so volatile. We moved all the time, you know, and then it's one of those things where your kids become your whole life, which is not healthy.
No.
You know? Your kids are part of your life, and they're a very important part, but they're not your whole life. You can't have your kids be your whole life. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. But so anyway, so that I was thinking about all that stuff as the song was going on. It was pretty hectic.
I guess maybe.
Hard song to listen to. It was very well done, but it's just not something that I don't want to listen to ever again.
So, are you gonna rate it?
Yeah, I'm gonna rate it.
I thought it was gonna be a silent count for you.
I'm gonna give this song a solid 9. Guy's got really good voice, so there you go.
And the music, musically, it was very beautiful what they did with so many parts of it. I think I'm gonna go with a 9.2. Yeah, 9.2 for me.
All right, there you go. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
The silence awakes me. My heartbeat would so easily reveal me. Who am I? What is left is in my mind that constantly deceives me. Doubt me if what I feel and see is real. It seems as if I exist in different worlds. There is one in darkness, one is loss of time, one of self-doubt and one of hurt. All my pride has left me. My value as a human's been extinguished. My close ones, those who love me, disbelieve me, won't believe me. So I got no one to confide in. And what worse is, I'm beginning to accept this. My body's become my prison. My keepers are what you would call fiction. I am beginning to doubt me if what I feel is